2, 1. So welcome to this video. I'm going to take a look at this particular example. It has to do with compound interest and calculating the number of terms. So we're going to do this particular example. I'm going to do it two ways. So one is assuming that you do not have a business analyst calculator. So you're going to just use a regular calculating, which means you're going to have to use the formula. And then the other one is using a business calculator so that you can get used to it in case you do go on and start doing business math, for example, with annuities. So let's give it a go. So what do we have given? In how many years will $4,000 grow to $8,000 at 10% compounded quarterly? Now it says there is answer is in quarters, so must turn it into years. So yes, if they ask you, if they want to know how many years you have, that's what we're going to have to try to find. So all of this information, that we have given here, I'm going to just write it out for myself. So these are my given pieces of info. So my present value that I'm starting off with is $4,000. My future value is supposed to be $8,000. So it doubles. My interest, my J, is 0.1. My I is quarterly, so it's going to be 0.1 divided by 4. So in this case, we can write that out. And now the problem is, I do know what M is. So M, because it's quarterly, it's 4, but I do not know what N is. All right, so that's what we're going to have to try to find. Now, please don't forget, so maybe what I'll write here is N is the number of years multiplied by M. And because the question is asking me for the number of years, so I can rearrange this formula. So I can divide by M on both sides in this way, and I'm going to get that the number of years is equal to N divided by M. So that's going to be useful for us once we find the N. Now, what I encourage you to do, before, if you haven't seen any of these examples, is to see the introduction and kind of the derivation of the formula for N. And I'll put up a link up above to that, if you want to be able to see it, if you haven't watched it. So method number one is you simply utilize the formula for N, and that formula either will use logs or it's going to use ln. And those are two buttons, and they're related to exponents that you have. So it's going to be either this button, which is a log button, or it's going to be this button, which is ln, which is pronounced ln. So if you want to find N, the formula for N is equal to, now I will just arbitrarily, I'll just say I'm going to use ln, for example, in this case. It is the ln of your future value divided by your present value. And then this entire thing is divided by the ln of 1 plus I. Now for this ln, if you like, you can use log, and it's going to give you exactly the same answer. So let's plug everything back into this equation, and then I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, depending on which app or which calculator you're using, you're going to have to learn how to utilize and use this ln or this log button. Sometimes you press it first, sometimes you press it second. So you're going to have to play around and try to see. So after substitution, so what I'm going to get is, now this is 8,000 divided by 4,000, which is going to be just 2, because that's what that will be. And then ln of 1 plus, this is going to be 0.025. And I can obtain, so what this is. I'm going to keep this as it is, and I'm going to take out our calculator here, put it on this side. So notice I have my ln button there. I'm going to put, future value divided by present value. So 8,000 divided by 4,000. So that's there. That's on top, and it is being divided by. So this whole thing is being divided by. So I'm going to hit divided by the ln of 1 plus 0.025. And then I'm just going to hit equals. And this gives me, so 28.07 and so on. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means the number of quarters because we were compounding quarterly. So again, if you want to know how many years, this would be, you simply take the answer. So it's going to be 28.07 and so on, divided by the number of quarters, which is 4. So I'm going to take this answer, divided by 4, and it equals to approximately 7 years. So if you were investing at around 10% compounded quarterly, it would take you about 7 years to go from 4,000 to 8,000. So kind of doubling your money, which would be amazing, okay, if that was the case. And that's how you would solve this particular example using the actual formula for N. Now, how would you do it if you wanted to use a business analyst calculator, so instead of using ln or logs? So let me show you how to do that. So here is our business analyst. So I'm going to obviously turn it on. So here it is. Now, if you're going to do that, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit second function and then all the way this button, which is clear total value of money. So I'm going to clear everything inside. And now I'm going to start. So the first thing that you always do is you want to know, okay, so how are you compounding? So I'm going to hit second function, okay, this P over Y there. All right. So P over Y is payments per year. And then here we have how are we compounding per year. Now, because we don't have any payments, okay, within here, so I'm going to just set everything, and it is quarterly that we're doing it. So we're going to have 4 because there's 4 quarters in 1 year. So I'm going to hit enter. So that gives me that. I'm going to hit second function, quit. So I've now set it up so that it is compounding quarterly. Now, the next item that I do is I'm going to input everything in. So I do not know my N, okay? I do know my my I or my J. So within here on the business analyst, we actually just input the nominal rate. So the nominal rate was 10% compounded quarterly. So it's 10%. You leave it as a percent, all right? And then you just hit the button. So that's what that would be. It already knows that it's compounded quarterly because we set that before. Now our present value, we know, and we know our future value. Now we have $4,000 and it grows to $8,000. So in the business analyst, you have to set present value to be the opposite sign of the future value. So I always think of it as if I am investing money, I am taking money out of my account and putting it into the investments. So I'm technically losing it in the beginning. So I put that as negative. So we're going to put 4,000, make it negative, hit present value. Now for my future value, I'm going to make it positive because that money is coming back to me. So 8,000, 1, 2, 3, future value, there you have it. Now for this payment, because we have no payments, we're not making, we're just investing money and then we're getting money back at the end. We're not making any payments in between, so we'll set that to 0. So that's that. Now the only thing remaining is N. So now we want to be able to compute it. So we hit compute. So compute and then hit N. And notice that it gives us 28.07, which is exactly what we got with the first method, except here we don't need any logs or lns or anything like that. And that is it. Okay, so that's how you would use the business analyst for that. And that basically concludes the example that I wanted to show you. All right, so we'll see you in a future video. Bye, everybody.